Hey guys, welcome to I Love Crypto, the stream where we talk about blockchain technology. And today I want to go over an important announcement that VeChain's making. But I also want to educate you on what VeChain is doing and how they're pioneering this IoT technology world. So VeChain aims to connect the blockchain technology to the real world by providing a comprehensive governance structure, a robust economic model, as well as advanced IoT integration and pioneers in real-world applications. So these are some of the best use cases for blockchain technology that exist. VeChain is actually connecting real-world objects and items for trackability, for testing, and all these different applications to the blockchain layer. So what blockchain allows is for transparency, for trustful information, for authenticity on the blockchain layer. It verifies a transaction, and so you can't go back and change that. But what this is doing is it's storing information about real-world objects, like where maybe a purse was made or the mileage on your car. All of these things are going to get transmitted to the VeChain blockchain layer, and so it's all in this really cool trustless environment. So I'm going to go over a little bit about what they do, and then I'm going to go over an important announcement that they made and how that might affect you as a VeChain investor. So the big thing to be aware of is, here we go. The big thing to be aware of is what they do is they've got, the problem right now is you've got all of these different groups when it comes to consumer products. You've got the brand that has all its data. You've got the manufacturer who makes the products, the distributor, the retailer, the consumer, and then the regulator. And then they each kind of talk to each other separately. And it's a very broken and fractalized system. And that distributor, they try and keep all that data. So what VeChain is doing is they're creating an ecosystem of data using their proprietary IoT or Internet of Things technology to be able to allow all of these different parts to communicate together to create one simple ecosystem where the brand can learn where it came from with the manufacturer. The consumer can also see that the brand is getting authentic information from the manufacturer and the distributor, and all of these things go together. But we can also see where parts aren't working in the system, and I'll go over that a little bit too. So VeChain actually has their own proprietary information. I'm a little bit in the way here, aren't I? They actually have their own proprietary devices. Basically, they've partnered with RFID and NFC, some of the most pioneering tracking devices, IoT tracking devices. And these small tags, they can be used to detect anything from pressure, humidity, location, inertia, radiation, and movement, and then also soil measurements. I mean, there's so many cool things that these RFID tags do. So all the data will be uploaded to the VeChain Thor blockchain in an immutable ledger, meaning nobody can change that information or alter it. And so how does that work? So there's a couple of use cases that they've already got going. So food and beverage, this is a big industry, but they've got this cold chain logistics. So they put these little sensors inside of these freezers where the trucks will transmit, let's say like fish or sausage or chicken or whatever. And so these IoT devices from the warehouse, the facility or the farm where it first packaged it, they can track that from that facility to maybe the distribution center, and then the distribution center to the store. And then consumers can then use that information on the tag, and they can see where it came from, that the farm was legit, that it's an organic farm, and they're even making devices that can go inside of the soil, so we can measure like what the soil content was, what the temperature was like, so they can measure it from A to Z to see where that problem was. So basically, as the truck is driving, the movement, the temperature in the freezer, all these things are uploaded via either cell phone or internet or some measurement, some way to get it up into the cloud, to the blockchain on VeChain. And so what this does is it basically helps regulators, it helps the brands, it helps the manufacturers, and it helps the consumers all see that data. So if the food went bad at the restaurant, or when you open it up at your house, you can tag that and you can track the temperature all the way. So then what can happen is the regulators can then shut down or fine the shipping company. Maybe it happened when the shipping company had it. Or maybe the freezer went out when it got moved from the truck to the to the distributor, and the distributor's freezers went out. Well, now they've got an easy way to track and see exactly when that happened. But that's one really cool use case, is the cold chain logistics. The other cool case in that is automobiles. So they've got this technology called digital passport, and what this does is it tracks the vehicle's data throughout its entire life cycle. So it's on your car, so it can track mileage, repair history, insurance, registration, and even driving behavior, from how fast you were going to how often you were braking. And Uber uses this right now to track their drivers, but it's not on the VeChain. So this can also be changed and altered. But when it goes onto the blockchain into these transaction layers, you can't change that. And so what this does is, if you get into an accident, you can just authorize your insurance company to access your digital passport, so it can kind of track and see all that information. If you take it in for repairs, you can allow your mechanic to access your digital passport. And then what they're going to have is they're going to have these new parts that are given IDs. Those are also going to be linked to the blockchain that are going to be tied to your vehicle digital passport. So it'll have all of that information on your vehicle, so we can track when new parts were put in. And you can track all that information. Then when you go to buy a used car, instead of relying on like Carfox or Carfax or Kelley Blue Book or these information that kind of verify what happens throughout a car's life cycle, you've got this verifiable, trustless information. So you can trust that when it says it hasn't had an accident, because it's got this little chip inside of it that's been tracking that throughout the life cycle of the car. So that's some pretty amazing stuff right there. The other part is healthcare. They've got these devices that can actually go into the medical devices from end-to-end production. So we can see from the manufacturer to the patient, all the way through that whole life cycle, if there was an issue with that trend all the way. What we can also share is if the patient wants, they can authorize their biometric data to go up into the VeChain Thor, the blockchain, and that can go right to the doctor on this immutable ledger, so the doctor can see that data in real time. And then the manufacturers can use that data from the doctor, they can basically try and improve outcomes. And same thing with the companies that are building these medical devices, from pacemakers to neurospinal regulators to artificial limbs. All of this data can be incorporated to improve patient outcomes. Patients can have biometric surveys that they can fill out that go up into all of these things can be tracked through that blockchain, which is pretty amazing. The other part is the CEO was actually worked for Louis Vuitton, and that's where he got this idea, was being able to track luxury goods. So the smart chip can actually go in all the way from the manufacturing facility. It can be inserted into the leather. And so you can make sure that the Louis Vuitton handbag that you bought, or the Gucci, or the Calvin Klein, or whatever brand you use, you can look at it from the brand. You can scan your purse and make sure that it's authentic. Make sure that it's not a knockoff. And this helps in both the secondary marketplaces like eBay or Craigslist, where you can just go on your mobile app and you can scan it. But they've also got this really cool app that they've already built, where customers can have stories or moments with their physical goods, where if they've got this really cute purse, they can tag it on at a concert where they've got their purse, and they can have these social moments and it creates this storyline for these brands, and it helps to provide more of a user experience or a brand experience. So they can track the entire journey from manufacturer to the sales channel. This is I think a $5 to $10 billion industry of overstock trading in Europe with these luxury goods. So lots of really cool use cases, and they're just kind of getting started with this. But how VeChain works is they've actually rebranded from VEN token. They just rebranded to VET and Thor. So the VET token is basically the store of value. And I'll go into these a little bit more. But the Thor token it's what managed costs on the protocol. So it's kind of like the fuel to the blockchain. And so VET is more of an intermedium of value. It's a smart payment cryptocurrency. It represents the right and privilege to occupy and use VeChain Thor, and it carries out the economic and business activities which contributes valuation of the entire VET circulation. So in normal language, what does that mean? Basically, VET is for the investors or the enterprise level users, so that they can generate Thor. And it gives access and priority to those who hold more to access the VeChain Thor blockchain. So the more you hold, the more priority you've got on the VeChain Thor blockchain, which is pretty cool. And then VeChain Thor, or the Thor token, it's the underlying cost of using the VeChain Thor. Am I in the way again? So that underlying cost, it's kind of like the Neo gas relationship, where gas is the power or the fuel for the Neo economy. And it supports payment transactions and smart contract executions automatically. So in normal language, what this means is that if you want to add information like the temperature regulation in this cold storage logistics, or the trackability of the purse from manufacturer to consumer, you have to pay Thor to have that information added to the blockchain. And when you have VET, the VET token, and you stake it, then what happens is you earn VThor. You earn 0.0042 per VET per day, or 0.15 Thor per year. And so the VThor token powers the VeChain ecosystem. It's a dual token economy. You've got store of value, and then you've got a use case for the VeChain Thor. So a pretty cool part with their roadmap is they've got their mainnet launch, where they're going to swap the VeChain, which is a ERC20 token right now, for their mainnet. They've got their wallet coming with their Forge concept, which I'm going to go over in a second. And then they've got VeChain 4.0, which is the integration of the platform. They've already got these RFID and NFC tags, which is pretty cool. But the other big thing is they've got this fiat pairing for yen and the Korean won on CoinNest. So you can actually buy VeChain straight with fiat currency, which is pretty cool. And then in 2018, they're going to come up with cross-chain and side-chain technology. And then in 2019, they're going to expand their whole ecosystem. But as far as like quarter 2 to quarter 3, there's a lot more partnerships that are coming out. They just announced that they partnered with BMW with their rebrand launch. They've got some really cool partnerships already in place. I mean, so many that we can't really even go over. But so they announced this staking platform for VeChain. But then they announced this X program. And this is what I wanted to announce, because you've got a time frame to get your X node set up. So the deadline is actually March 20th. So you've got 6 days. So if you're on Binance, with your VeChain on Binance, then you want to make sure that you get your VeChain off of that, especially if you've only got that 2 Bitcoin minimum rule. So you want to have a couple of days to get your VeChain off there. So the deadline is March 20th, 2018 at noon. And so you want to get it into My Ethereum wallet or some sort of trackable wallet. You can't keep it on an exchange if you want to try and get the staking node. And so if you don't meet a criteria for an X node by the timestamp above, you'll never be able to upgrade to a variation of the X node. So I'm going to go over what this X node is and why it's so cool. I'm going to shut this slideshow off for just a second, and I might make myself a little bit more transparent. Okay. And then let me see. Where am I? Video capture device. I'll just move me over. Okay. Over here. Oops. All right. It's irrelevant. Okay. I'll just slide me back over. You guys can see it. It'll be okay. All right. So essentially, what's going on though? There we go. All right, so what's going on though is in the X node system, you can only upgrade to another X. So you have a certain amount of time to go to an X node. And if you're not in an X node, what's going to happen is, there we go, is you'll never be able to get to an X node if you don't get the amount of VET you need into the X node. So I'm going to go over the X node really quick and kind of what that does. But basically, let me just shut me off. Okay. So basically, in this node system, there's a few different things to be aware of. So there's the economic node model, which are these three here. So you need at least 10,000 VeChain to have a strength node. And you get 100% bonus from the VeChain Thor reward from the foundation reward pool. So you get 100% bonus of the Thor token. So you hold VET, which is currently VEN on Binance. They rebranded, so it'll be recalled to VET. But eventually what you'll get is Thor tokens. So you'll earn Thor, just like when you stake Neo into a Neon wallet, you earn gas. So for a strength node, you need 10,000 VeChain or VET, which is currently called Ven, and it can be confusing. But Thunder node, you'll need 50,000, and then the Mjolnir, you'll need 150,000. And these come from the Thor legend, if you've ever seen that. And then you've got the Trudheim node, Master node, which is an authority node. There's only 101 of these, and these were already locked down, so you'll never be able to get to an authority node. But what they've added now is this extra part down here, 50 million vet tokens, where you can get bonus. So you've got VThor X node, where if you don't have enough for a strength node, you can get a VThor X node. So all you need to do is you need to get 6,000 vet VeChain into a node, and you'll earn 25% bonus tokens for this X node. And if you plan on upgrading to the strength, the Thunder, or the Mjolnir X node, so you get these extra bonuses, all you need to do is you need to get 6,000 into a wallet, into a trackable wallet, and they'll verify you right now. So then if you want to get into a strength X node, then you'll need 16,000, and then you'll get a 200% bonus, because you get 100% bonus from here and 100% bonus from here. And if you want a Thunder X node, then you just need to get to 56,000 Ven or Vet, and then you get 150% bonus twice. And then for the Mjolnir, you get a 600% bonus, because you get two 200% bonuses, and then you get a 200% bonus for here. So 156,000 vet, which I'll go over each one of those a little bit more specifically. Now this can get a little bit confusing, so I'm going to go over this a little bit more in depth. So you have a maturity period where it takes time to get to each period. So for the VThor X node, you can get that automatically after the date March 20th, and you can start generating Thor right away into your My Ethereum wallet. After 30 days, then you can upgrade to the Strength X node, where you get 100% bonus. You just need an additional 10,000 vet on top of your VThor X node. And then if you want the Thunder X node, you have a normal Thunder node, then you just add an additional 6,000. So if you get your tokens into a wallet right now, you'll automatically have this X designator. But if you don't get them into a wallet before then, before March 20th, you'll never be able to have an X node. So this is introducing a concept of early adoption. So it's encouraging people to stake their Thor right away, to get that into the ecosystem, to take the vet off of the ecosystem, to increase price and just drive those benefits. So part of the benefits of owning an X node, and here's where some speculation happens, is you get exclusive participation in VeChain ecosystem project whitelist. Most people are taking this as you get first early access into private sales of ICOs that are being fundraised on the VeChain system. So you can take that. There's a lot of speculation on that, but some people are saying that that's kind of what they're meaning by that, but it wasn't very clear with that. You'll get a distinguishing ID to represent your VEV to VVID, which is their own proprietary system. And then you get the X series node, which I already talked about. And then you get the Mjolnir X is the, okay, so let's go over some examples so you guys can understand this. So if you have 6,000 vet and if you have your X node, you will always have an X node. You will never lose that unless you go lower than the 6,000 limit. Then you will lose your node status. You'll be an X node until you reach 6,000. But if you remove your 4,000, if you have 6,000 and you drop less than 6,000, then you lose your X node status. But if you add 4,000, you will only be a VThor X node. You will not be a Strength X node, because you'll need 16,000, and it doesn't change it to a Strength node because you're in the X series. I know this can be a little bit confusing. So let's say you have 60,000 vet and the node is labeled as Thunder X node, but you move 10,000 out of the wallet to sell or into another wallet. In this scenario, you will remain a Thunder X node as long as you have more than 56,000 vet. You have 156,000 vet in the Mjolnir X node status, and you move 8,000 to another wallet, leaving your wallet with a balance of 149,000. So in this case, you go under the limit. You'll automatically become a Thunder node and not a Thunder X node, and there's no way back into the Series X node. So let me break that down a little bit more, a little bit easier to explain, because it gets confusing. So let's say, just for simplicity's sake, you have 16,000 vet. So you've been upgraded to a Strength X node. If you drop less than 16,000, then you become a Strength node and you lose your X status indefinitely. But if you're a strength node and you drop less than 10,000, then you're not a node at all, and you're not accumulating Thor. Well, you are at the base rate, but these nodes have bonus structures as outlined in the paper. So you can still earn Thor by holding smaller than 6,000 vet, but you just don't get the bonus. So it pays to have that 10,000 bonus. Okay, so when should we buy in to our VeChain? So right now VeChain is at there. Let's look at the timeline. So VeChain has gone from down here. It's gone. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Back here, it was baseline right around 3,000 Satoshis, and it had these awesome partnership announcements, and it moved all the way up to a max height of 82,000 VeChain, or 83,000 Satoshi. It had this ABCDE pattern, had this nice spike, and it's had this ABC consolidation pattern now, and it's stuck in between this resistance and this support. The resistance is what it used to be at back in January, and the support is also the same. So it's kind of got this same structure as before. So what I would do is, it looks as though it's range bound right now. And so I would try and buy it right around 39,000 Satoshis, which would put it right at the $3.30 mark, where it was before, $3.30, unless we start getting a strong bull run. But this decline, which was not too bad, about 50% from high to low, 54%. This is in relation to Bitcoin's 70% drop from 20,000 to 6,000. So that's a pretty good. It's retained its value really well, and so depending on what you're looking at, I would try and get it at that 350, 330 mark. Everyone is expecting a little bit of a new low to come in. But the most important thing, if you got anything out of this, was just to be aware of that X node status. And to get your VeChain into a wallet, your VEN, which is currently called VEN on Binance, to get your VEN, which is going to be called VET very soon here, to get your VET into a wallet so that you can get that X node status, so you can earn the bonuses. And so if you ever want to get to the upgraded status, because I know people with 100,000 VET and they didn't even know that this X node status occurred, so they could be earning 200% bonus if they get that into a wallet. So this was kind of your public service announcement about VeChain, but also wanted to educate you a little bit more about VeChain. This is I Love Crypto. Hope you guys enjoyed this this investment series on VeChain. Make sure you subscribe for new videos. I try and come at you guys with the earliest and fastest news possible, but also some price estimates. Follow me on Twitter at I Love Crypto, and make sure you join my free Facebook group at I Love Crypto. And I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit me with some comments below if you've got any questions. I try and read all of those. I appreciate all the feedback and all the love and support. Give me a thumbs up if this was helpful, if you guys learned something today. Thanks, guys.